Today's video is a follow-up to the video my partner Stephanie released. I'll leave a link to it up in this corner, so if you haven't seen it, do go check that out. That video just talks about promoted closets. I will also leave a link to the original post that Poshmark made a couple weeks ago in case you haven't seen it. That'll be down in the description. We are going to be taking a look at what the impact of this change has actually been on sellers and on buyers on the app. We, of course, do sell on Poshmark US and Poshmark Canada, and neither of our two closets has received more attention or more listings than the other. We do everything equally across both apps. So our Poshmark Canada closet is a nice control so we can all see what the impact has been. Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Every Closet. My name is Ethan, and along with my lovely partner Stephanie, we are two full-time resellers of used clothing from Canada. We sell on Poshmark US, Poshmark Canada, and eBay.com. So if that sounds like something you want to do, click subscribe down below to follow along on our journey. While Poshmark has been relatively silent over the last couple of weeks regarding promoted closets, we do, of course, sell on Poshmark US and Poshmark Canada, and we have been doing so for a couple of years. While we are not included in the beta program yet, we did apply to be a part of the promoted closet beta. We have not heard back yet. So our US closet is now competing against people who are getting promoted listing treatment. Now we can kind of compare what it's like if you are not promoting and what it is like if you're on a region where this change hasn't rolled out yet. So before I talk about our experiences and what we've noticed on the app, I do just want to point out this is all anecdotal. This is just our experience on the app, and for all I know, there might be people out there who are just crushing it on Poshmark US despite the promoted closet change. So I do just want to say, this is entirely anecdotal. I understand that, but I do think it's important to note that we have seen a real shift on Poshmark US, especially compared to the Canadian closet, but also just compared to the US closet immediately before this update went live. So I'm gonna just start off by talking about search and what it looks like now on Poshmark US in case you haven't seen it or you haven't been using the app to search for items on Poshmark US. All right, so what have we seen on the app? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it has been chaos. It is frankly terrible. Search is broken, and I genuinely don't think that if you regularly search for items on Poshmark US, you could come to any other conclusion. The good news is I think this is all relatively easy to fix, I would think, based on some of the search results that we're getting. I literally just did 10 searches on desktop on Poshmark US. For those of you that don't know, if you're on Poshmark.com and you do a search on your phone, it doesn't flag anything as being a promoted listing. It will only do that for you if you're searching on desktop. So I'm going to pop some results up on screen and I'm going to talk about them. These are just the first 10 results that I thought of as if I was a buyer on Poshmark, what might be something I would look for? And I typed that phrase into search and I saved them as screenshots. Spoiler alert, the results are not good. So the first result, I just typed in Madewell jeans. This, I think, is a very reasonable search that someone who's looking for Madewell jeans might just type in, particularly if they'd set up my size in there, it would automatically filter by anything in their size. This is the 1 out of 10 searches that I would call mostly right. We'll give Poshmark 0.75 for being 3 out of 4 right with Madewell jeans. The fourth result is Madewell shoes. Obviously, if you're looking for jeans, that result is entirely worthless. The next result, and this is where it really goes downhill, guys, and I'm not kidding you, these are literally just the first 10 results that I typed in on Poshmark US. I typed in North Face beanie. The North Face, this is how Poshmark spells the brand under the brand category, so I expected it to hopefully get that brand right. And you can see the top 4 results there. All of them are indeed from the North Face. And for my fellow Canadians out there, Americans call them beanies, we call them toques. I call them toques personally, but I'm searching on US. I figured if I was an American looking, I would type in beanie. So that's why you get it. Okay, so here, obviously, if I was looking for a beanie, only one of those 4 results would be at all relevant, and I would completely disregard results 1, 2, and 4 in that top row. And I did include the second row in all of these, which, as you can see when compared to that first row, The second row is not promoted. The first row of listings that it returns are entirely promoted. So obviously, Poshmark's search does understand that I'm looking for beanies based on the second row, but that top row is just entirely messed up. And you're going to see that continue as a theme. 1 out of 4, we will add 0.25 to Poshmark's total. Next up, in the also mostly wrong category, I searched for Swiftly Tech shirt long sleeve Lululemon. If you don't know, the Swiftly Tech shirt from Lululemon is a really popular style. We have sold a ton of Swiftly Tech shirts. This is what they look like. Now let's look at our search results. So here in the promoted listings, the first 4 listings at the top, we have a Future Collective shirt for some reason. It is long sleeve, so I guess it just pulled long sleeve and was like, this is a long sleeve, I don't know. Then we have a Victoria's Secret long sleeve that I would totally disregard if I was shopping for a Swiftly Tech shirt. The third result there is indeed a long sleeve Swiftly Tech shirt. That's 1 out of 4 correct. The last result is a unbranded men's 3XL shirt. Also completely useless if you are a buyer shopping for Swiftly Techs. So for search result number 3, we have 1 out of 4 again. We will give Poshmark another 0.25 out of 1 possible point. And then I just kind of wanted to vary it up with the types of searches I was doing. So this next one, I just typed in men's Lululemon because I wanted to see what would come up. And it gave me 1 out of 4 men's Lululemon items. The top results there, we have men's heather gray sweatpants. We'll give you a 1 out of 4 for that, Poshmark. But then the other 3 results is a women's shirt. I did click on it to confirm it is listed under women's. No idea why that came up. Then we have a sports bra, probably not of interest to most of the men who are shopping on Poshmark for men's Lululemon items. And then we have Gather and Crow leggings, which are also a women's item. So as you can see here, I tried to do like a mix of men's, women's, a mix of including a specific product category or not. So this one, at least all 4 of the items it returned were the right brand, but it still only gets 1 out of 4. So 0.25 for Poshmark. Next up, I just typed in women's Arc'teryx shoes. If you don't know, Arc'teryx makes really popular like trail running shoes and outdoorsy kind of shoes, shoes that are good for hiking, all kinds of stuff like that. They're really nice and grippy. They usually have Vibram rubber on the bottom, which is the same thing that goes on climbing shoes. So yeah, Arc'teryx shoes, generally pretty sought after. Now, this is one where up until now, Poshmark has at least gotten 1 out of 4, but you'll see here 6 of those 10, Poshmark just got entirely wrong with the top 4 items. That's not great. So this is the score that Poshmark has currently out of a possible 4. Not very good. And they're not getting any more points. Spoilers. So I searched for women's Arc'teryx shoes. It gave me an Arc'teryx hoodie. It gave me Athletics Works shoes. It gave me Nike shoes, and it gave me tape shoes. Again, I'm just showing that second row as well, where you can see there are indeed Arc'teryx shoes. For some reason with the promoted closets, it's just quite broken. Next up, we went more general, didn't include a brand, and I just searched for kids' shoes size 3. You will notice that none of those 4 items are shoes. Up until this point, I'd kind of been searching for mainly like lower, medium tier items. So then I was wondering, well, what happens if you're searching for luxury goods? So I just typed in Valentino flats. I know they make them. I know they sell on Poshmark. You will notice when I typed in Valentino flats, the promoted listings are a necklace, not by Valentino, flats from a brand called Coco Bow, bobs for cats, or bobs from Skechers, and a Valentino men's tie. I don't even, like, why don't you test things internally before you make them go, like, what on earth? This is, okay, I'm over it. Okay, then I was kind of wondering, well, what happens if you search for something that's high-end but a little more obscure, right? So I typed in Dodo bar or dress. And I did this because Steph actually noticed this one on her phone the other day. She was out thrifting and we actually found one. I'll put a picture of the one that we found here. But she was looking it up and she was like, these top results are totally irrelevant. So I replicated that search here, and you can see our top 4 results are a brass-colored bar ring, a dress the population dress, tassel earrings, and a push-up bra, none of which are from the correct brand. So it got 1 out of 4 for dresses, but I mean, still, the results are entirely wrong. And you can see in the row below that, again, it did return dodo, bar, or dresses. My search term is not the problem here. It's what Poshmark is deciding to return in results. Next up, I searched for Adidas printed dress. You can see here it gave me 2 dresses that are printed, but neither of which are Adidas, an Adidas pullover, and Adidas leggings. Again, if I was looking for specifically an Adidas dress, this would be totally irrelevant and useless. And lastly, I searched for a women's 3.1 Phillip Lim sweater. Here you can see that all 4 of the promoted listings at the top are not sweaters, but they are 3.1 Phillip Lim. Again, if I was looking for a sweater, which presumably I am if that's what I type in the search bar, then I would be kind of annoyed by these search results. Can you tell I'm a little bit annoyed, Poshmark? You're kind of messing with our business here, and I don't love it. Either give everyone access to this beta feature because you're doing the promoted thing for free, get a whole bunch of data, and then turn it off. Give everyone access for a week so everyone's on a level playing field, and then you'll see that it's clearly broken, and then just turn it off. Like, I don't understand why we've been doing this for 2 weeks now, and this is still the results that I'm getting. Okay, real talk, you guys. This is it's hard to like run a business on someone else's marketplace, and then for them to just be like, do you like making money with your business? Well, I'm gonna just light a third of your business on fire because we want to just play with the algorithm. And it's like, test internally. Come on. Come on. Oh my God, neighbor. Come on. You were supposed to. Sorry about that. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, well, Ethan, all of those results that you showed, the second row was okay. So, like, it's not that bad. That buyers can still sort of find what they're looking for. And maybe I'm being overdramatic, but I have a business degree. I took classes in marketing, and if you add even just a little more difficulty to a buyer's purchasing experience, that has a concrete effect in terms of sales. There's a reason that businesses say your business isn't a real business if it's not on the first page of Google, right? Like if you are looking for a burger restaurant near you and you type in burger restaurant near me, you're not going to go to page 2. You're going to look at just page 1 and that's it, right? And it's the same thing with Poshmark, especially if you're on the app where you only get 2 items per row, right? You might just assume like, oh, well, there's nothing for sale. If the entire first page on your phone, you type in dodo, bar, or dress, and it comes up with 4 completely unrelated listings, that's kind of an obscure brand. So as a buyer, you might just be like, oh, well, I guess none are on Poshmark because the top 4 results are completely unrelated. And you might just not scroll more, or you might try sub-filtering and just be like, I'm going to go to a different brand, right? And so before we talk about what has happened with our US closet over this period, and in case you can't tell, I'm a little annoyed with Poshmark, so you can probably guess the way it's gone. I just want to talk about this whole promoted closet rollout of beta features. Obviously, they're going to work out the kinks, hopefully, before they actually make this go live in other regions as well, and before they roll out the feature to all sellers. But the system as it is now is all we can judge it on because Poshmark has been, I think, purposefully opaque about what their timeline is for this, why search results are still so messed up after 2 weeks, and just like what their thought process is, right? We're real people running a real business on Poshmark, and our US closet is an integral pillar of that business. And so it's frustrating when someone just like, no, you don't get to use this pillar this month. And it's like, cool, thanks. Can we have any more information? And they're like, no, apply to be in the beta. And we're like, I mean, it doesn't seem that beneficial. So I guess that brings us to what's the effect of this change on people who are in the beta? And I think as you've seen, the search results for the actual people who are promoting are terrible. It's bad for the sellers who are promoting so far because, like, here's one of my sheets. If I searched for kids' shoes size 3 as a buyer, right, and then on the other end of these listings, there's a seller who decided to promote their listings that are showing in the top 4 here. None of those top 4 listings are kids' size 3 shoes. So if I was a seller, right, then we still don't have information on how sellers are going to be charged. But if, for instance, I'm just paying a fee on my closet to promote listings, I'd be pissed if I was paying for this, right? Because if my kid's Speedo backpack is coming up when buyers are searching for kids' shoes, then I'm wasting money as a seller taking advantage of promoted closets by promoting that listing, right? So it's bad for the sellers who would be paying in this instance. Of course, during the beta program, it is free for people they let in, so there's no cost to them, but there is a cost to everyone else on the app while this is going on. And if the system were to go live currently, I would be pissed if I was paying for this service as a seller. As a seller who is not paying to have listings promoted, it also sucks. And here's where we'll talk about our closet. So as I mentioned at the top of this video, we do sell on Poshmark US and Poshmark Canada. So we have seen what both regions look like, and the promoted listing and promoted closets are not live on Poshmark Canada currently, as far as we know. And let me tell you, our sales over the last couple of weeks have been good. They've been consistent. We haven't had any $0 sales days, and that is what we'd expect because we've been selling on the app for a long time. We have over 1,600 active listings, and it is very rare before these changes rolled out that we would have a $0 sales day on either closet. In the last 2 weeks, we've been training an employee to ship our US packages, and that's actually been difficult because there have been repeated $0 sales days. We had one good sales day, and that was because I sent out 30 or 35% off offers to Likers because I was like, we need to get some US sales so I can show them how to ship our US packages from Canada, right? It's a whole thing if you've seen this video. If you are a Canadian and you're interested in selling on Poshmark US whenever this hellscape freezes over, this metaphor is falling apart. Check out this video where Steph tells you how to set up a US Poshmark closet because it's great. Yeah, it's been bad for sellers on the app. Again, this is anecdotal. This is just our experience, but it has not been a pleasant selling experience in the last 2 weeks specifically on Poshmark US. Before that, we actually preferred selling on Poshmark US to Poshmark Canada because there are just more buyers. We benefit actually from the strong US dollar currently. Like, there were a lot of reasons we really liked selling on Poshmark US, but it has been tough in the last couple of weeks. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, this change has been bad for sellers on the app so far in our experience. And then lastly, I just want to talk about it's been bad for buyers too, right? Frankly, like when you look at these 10 search results that I just showed you, it's no wonder that sales are slower on Poshmark US. It's like I was saying, if you're not on the first page of Google, buyers and sellers, just people in general, have short attention spans, right? And the job of a search algorithm is to direct you to the most relevant results as quickly as possible. Poshmark is actively making this harder. If they were insistent on testing this, they could try sprinkling the promoted listings throughout. They could try applying the exact same search algorithm that they have for non-promoted listings. Like, I don't understand why a technology company would be able to return relevant results in row 2 for things that are not promoted, but have completely irrelevant results for row 1. And if the answer is just they haven't let enough sellers into the beta yet to actually have relevant items be promoted, then just make it available to everyone for free while you test it. Regardless of the reason, there is an easy fix to this Poshmark. And frankly, we love selling on Poshmark. We have 2 Poshmark stores in 2 regions. Like, we like using the app, and we've been selling on you and buying on you for quite a while. And it's frustrating, and it feels a little disrespectful to just be like, upend your business, figure it out, have fun, I guess. And it's like, Poshmark, come on. Come on. I'm hard on you because I love you and I want you to do better. You're like our abusive business partner right now, and I don't love that. I don't love that at all. At the end of the day, if we're not making sales, presumably you're not getting as much in commissions, right? So if you need more data, let everyone in for free. Or if you can't let everyone in for some reason, let all your Posh Ambassador 2s in for free. There has to be a way to make this search experience a better experience for buyers, for sellers. We know there's going to be some growing pains anytime you change search, right? But I genuinely don't understand how anyone could look at a random sampling of the very first 10 that I could come up with to type in and then be like, yeah, it's fine. We're just going to make buyers and sellers just suffer through this. Sellers are fed up with the lack of transparency and the lack of clarity on what the algorithm is targeting, right? Like we saw this as well earlier in the year when people were just typing in the description like, sterling silver ring like over and over and over again just to make sure it ranked at the top of search if someone typed in sterling silver ring. It shouldn't be a guessing game to figure out how these marketplaces work. I don't know, guys. It's chaos out there. Oh, okay, that got a bit ranty, but Poshmark, we love you. Please fix search. This doesn't make sense for buyers. It doesn't make sense for sellers who are using promoted closets. It doesn't make sense for sellers who aren't using promoted closets. We don't need to keep living in this hell. Should I leave that in? We're leaving it in. Who cares? I'm feeling spicy today. But yeah, if you like this video, it would mean a lot to us as we're trying to grow our YouTube channel. We're coming up on 1,000 subs, so either leave us a like or a comment, share this with a reseller friend. It means a lot to us. Or if you haven't hit subscribe yet, click that subscribe button down below. Have a great day. Go make some sales despite the headwinds of the algorithm. Charge forward into the wind and conquer search. Yeah. Okay, I need to leave. I've been filming too long. Bye.